Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome to the Coaching Corner with me, Jamila, aka the IEP Coach. Hello, 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 everyone. As always, if you see me turn to my left, I am going live on my Instagram as well. And then when I turn to my right, I am on all of my other platforms, okay? You all know the drill. I am Jamila, aka the IEP Coach. As always, we share out this live with as many people as possible. And as I'm telling you to share it out, I'll be sharing it out as well. My evening is going well. Frederick underscore 1174. Hello. And good evening to everyone. Good evening, good evening. So let's share out this live with as many people as possible. For those of you who are new to my page, we are the IEP Coach LLC. Our focus is supporting principals with keeping their special education teachers from leaving the field. How do we do that? We provide professional development and training and coaching tailored to the needs of special education teachers, so that way they're more likely to stay because they feel supported. And also our special education professional developments and coaching also is for gen ed teachers as well. We also support parents with understanding the special education process and the IEP process. So that is just a little bit about what we do, who we are, and what we do. And we go live every Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about all things special education, because that's what we do. You know, that's my passion. You know, I love talking about special education. It's my thing. All right. So I'm sharing it out, share it out, share it out, share out the live, everyone. Tonight, we will be discussing how to not get sued. We've been talking so much about professional development, special education professional development, why it's, first of all, what it is. So special education professional development, I have to clean my glasses, I'm sorry, I can't see. So special education professional development is training that is tailored to special education. So for example, we may do a professional development on how to read an IEP and how to follow an IEP, how to implement it in the classroom, effective co-teaching models, how to efficiently progress monitor goals, or how to progress monitor behavior. So those particular things are tailored to special education because they are specific to students with IEPs or special education teachers who are case managers who have a caseload of students that have an IEP. Okay? Now, why is that PD important for all teachers? We talked about because it benefits everyone. Everyone needs to know how to support a student with an IEP. Is also important because it helps everyone to be on the same accord. Everyone has a clear understanding of what they need to do, and how to best support the child that has an IEP. It also supports gen ed teachers know how to show up and participate at an IEP meeting, and Sped teachers know how to write an IEP. They know how to support gen ed teachers. They also know how to do things specific to their job, like progress monitoring IEP goals, writing transition plans once students turn 14. So it's all of those things as well. So it's very important. Now, the downside, if you don't get the training, you don't get the PD, you don't have that information, you don't have that knowledge, therefore you won't excel in your profession because you're lacking in those areas. Because you don't know how to participate in an IEP meeting. You don't know how to lead an IEP meeting. You don't know how to write an IEP. You don't know how to write measurable goals. You don't know how to progress monitor academic goals or behavior goals. You don't know how to write transition plans. There'll be so much that you don't know how to do because you don't have the training. So that's why special education professional development, it is so important. Okay? It is extremely important. All right? Now, we're going to discuss how to not get sued. Because a lot of these school districts and networks, charter networks, are in litigation as we speak. They are being sued. You want to know why? A lot of times for not following a student's IEP and implementing the IEP in the classroom. Another reason another reason some schools are getting sued. Hey, everyone coming in. They're getting sued because they're not in compliance with the student's IEP, meaning it's outdated. It hasn't been updated. I want to say those are like the two main things. You're not following the student's IEP and implementing it in the classroom, or you are not keeping it updated. Or this is another one. Some of these schools are being sneaky, and they are, what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word I'm looking for? It just escaped me. They are signing documents as if they are the parent, and they are not. Forging, that's the word. They are forging signatures on some of these documents, acting as if they're the parent, giving permission for testing and things. Wa alaikum assalam. And that is happening. That is illegal. So those are like the three things they're getting sued for. So I'm just gonna do a quick live to tell you how to not get sued. The first tip, and this is so simple. When I tell you this tip, you're gonna be like, oh my God, that's common sense. But common sense isn't common. That is this first tip I'm gonna give you, it's common sense, but I have to tell you, common sense is not common. The first tip to keep your school, and I'm speaking to principals, I'm speaking to admin, I'm speaking to teachers too, just so even though they're not suing you specifically, you could be the reason why your school is getting sued because you don't know how to write an IEP. You admin principals, you need to make sure everyone knows how to read an IEP, knows how to implement an IEP, and 504 plans as well. Stay on top of that, the IEPs and the 504s, mastering that, making sure your staff knows how to implement those accommodations and modifications in the classroom, is aware of what those goals are. Your Sped teachers know how to progress monitor those goals. They know how to support the student. They know how to support the teacher to support the student. You have to stay on top of that. Students that have 504s know exactly what their 504 plan is for. Some have it for testing accommodations. Some have it for accommodations in the classroom. So make sure you know what's in that IEP and in that 504 plan so you know what needs to be done in their classroom. Because if you don't, you can get sued for not doing it. You can get sued for not following an IEP, not making sure it's updated, and forging anything. You can get sued for that. So you want to make sure you stay on top of that. Know what's in a student's IEP. Know what their specially designed instruction is, their accommodations, their modifications, any related services they're supposed to receive, speech, occupational therapy, hearing, counseling. Make sure they get that. So that way you are following that IEP and you are implementing it in the classroom. So the first tip, make sure you are on top of the IEP and 504s. Okay? Tip number 2. This is another one. You're going to be like, yo, this is common sense. Training. Equip your staff with training, with the special education professional development that they need to stay on top of things like making sure they making sure IEPs are in compliance and your school is in compliance, making sure you meet those deadlines, the child find deadline, make sure that you are making sure these IEPs are being done annually to remain in compliance, make sure you are doing your triennials, the reevaluations according to the timeline. Make sure you give your staff the professional development that they need and require. Everybody on your staff should have special education professional development. Your gen ed teachers, your special education teachers, your subs, they all need it. They all need special education professional development. Because they all will have experience attending IEP meetings and they need to know how to participate. Your special education teacher need to know how to lead these meetings. They need to know what's in the IEP. with goals in the IEP, what they can put in the IEP. They need to make sure that they're progress monitoring the goals correctly, academic goals, behavior goals, all of that. They need to make sure they know how to do that. Okay, we have a comment that just came in. I had the biggest issue years ago with finding a daycare for my kid that was equipped to follow special education in the IEP. Yes, thank you for sharing that. And is it Kiana? I hope I said your name right. You're absolutely right. All daycares aren't equipped to follow or know how to follow a child who's coming in. Oh, great. Who has early intervention and is coming in with, I think it's an ISP. I think they have ISPs before they go into the school district to get IEPs, individualized service plan. I believe that's what the ISP stands for. But yeah, every daycare does not have the staff to support students, children that have an IEP. Oh, thank you, Kiana. Yeah, they don't have. Every daycare doesn't have the staff. Every daycare doesn't have, and the setting is just not equipped for children, all the needs of all children. And Kiana, if you want to connect with someone who can help you, if you need support, if you still need support with that, you can reach out to I don't know if you're on Instagram or Facebook. Her name is Thomasina Lee. She is on Instagram and Facebook. She has different expectations, or you can also connect with her at Tall Hairs Village. And I'll put it in the chat for you. She specifically supports daycares. She's called the Autism Warrior, if you want to follow her at all. And it's different expectations. All right. So let me just recap the first two tips. So how to not get sued. I said make sure you're on top of your IEPs and your 504 plans, knowing what needs to be implemented in the classrooms. You're welcome. Knowing the specially designed instruction that needs to be implemented in the classroom, any accommodations, what the related services are. Also, if the student has a 504, what accommodations do they need in the classroom? Is it just testing accommodations? If it's testing accommodations, you want to make sure they're on the testing accommodation list so that way everyone is aware that they get testing accommodations. All teachers need to have that information. Tip number 2 was training. You need special education training for your staff, for your teachers, for your subs, for your general education teachers. Special education professional development is not just for special education teachers. It's not. It's for everyone at your school. All right. Now here's the third tip. When I say this tip, you're going to be like, duh. Document. I can't say that enough. Your documentation is everything. That will help to keep you from getting sued as well. Document. This is why when you are progress monitoring goals, you document all that. Your progress monitoring behavior, all of that should be documented. Any changes, any amendments made to an IEP, that is documented. Any phone calls you have with parents, that is documented. You need to either you write it down or you send a follow-up email directly after that phone call so you have the date and time that you communicated with that parent. Everything you do needs to be documented. If you met with a parent, document that. If you had a team meeting, an informal meeting, you need to document that. Document everything. Have the students all their data, any tests, everything. That is documentation. You have to document everything. And when I tell you, just from my experience being a special education teacher and a special education supervisor, I don't delete no emails. I don't. I only delete the what is that? The spam and like those advertisements. Those get deleted. Everything else, I don't delete nothing. I save everything because I'm like, those are my receipts. Because people like to get amnesia, like, oh no, I didn't send that email. I didn't. Yes, you did. And I got proof you sent that to me because I don't delete emails because those are my receipts. Parents, when you go to these IEP meetings, or when you talk to someone on the IEP team on the phone, have a notebook with you, put the date in there, and document what you talked about, who you spoke with. When you go to IEP meetings, take your notes. Teachers, you go to IEP meetings, take your notebook too. Take notes. Document. Documentation is everything. Document, document, document. Because if your school ends up in litigation, they are going to request every piece of documentation that involves that student. It can be an email, it can be a note that they want to see the documentation. I never forget, it was a parent. He wanted to sue the district that I was working at the time, because he felt that we did not, his son had huge test anxiety. Great kid in class. He just had test anxiety. And he said that we weren't educating his son and all this stuff, right? So he was suing the district. And mind you, this is the following year, because the dad wanted him to go to a private school. This is now the following year. The lawyer came, the district lawyer was like, oh, can you please give any documentation you have for so-and-so student? Do you know I don't throw away none of my students' work from the previous year. I hold on to it for a whole year, because you never know what's going to pop up the next year. So I was like, oh, here's his folder. I had all of his writing samples. I had all of his tests, his writing, because I taught English. I had all his English assessments, every common assessment that we took. That was my documentation of how he performed in my class, because I said, oh, he was doing well. And I had documentation to prove that he did well. Okay? Litigation, it is not fun at all. We was with that lawyer for hours. We was with that lawyer so long, they got us snacks and they got us lunch. The teachers who taught that student the previous year, we all had snacks and they got us lunch. Because that's how long we were sitting with the district lawyer. Okay? You don't want to sit through that. You don't want to be involved in that. So do what you need to do to make sure your school doesn't get sued. Principals in school admin, do what you need to do so your school won't be in litigation and getting sued. So I'm going to restate the steps. 1, stay on top of the IEPs and the 504s. Know what's in them and know what the student needs in the classroom or outside the classroom. Know what those accommodations and modifications are, whether they have an IEP or a 504. Master that. Be on top of that. 2, get training for your staff. Special education, professional development. It covers a wide range of topics that will meet the needs of your school. Helps you stay on top of regulations, helps you to stay in compliance, and the list goes on. So keep your staff trained. And last but not least, document. I cannot say it enough. You have to document. Parents, you need to document. Teachers, you need to document. And then here's a tip for parents and teachers. Every time I send an email, if I send an email to a parent, I CC someone else on their IEP team. So if they have let's say they got counseling, I will CC their clinician on the email. Or if they don't have any related services, I will CC the guidance counselor on that email. Just so that it's just like a covering. I sent this email to you, someone else seen it. Learn ways to provide inclusion is so important. Yes, effective inclusive teaching models is very important, because the way some of these teachers are so-called co-teaching and calling it co-teaching, no, one of you is assisting, you're not teaching, and I don't know what the heck that is. Okay, so that is all we have for tonight. Oh, make sure that you follow us at the IEP Coach LLC on all platforms: Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, at the IEP Coach LLC. We will be, make sure you click the link in our bio for the You Can Thrive in Sped 5 virtual conference. It is free. It's a free 6-day conference. It is currently going on right now. You can click the link. It is free. It is free. It is free. I will be on tomorrow, Wednesday, on the You Can Thrive in Sped conference. So make sure you click the link and register so that way you can attend. And there's so many other great presenters as well. And we will be we're presenting on how to get vital information from the IEP team. All right. Hey, Cruise underscore connection. Sorry. All right. So we will be participating in a You Can Thrive in Sped 5 virtual conference. So make sure, again, you click the link in our bio. It is free, absolutely free. We will be presenting tomorrow, but it's a 6-day conference. All right. Also, July 11th through the 13th, the IEP Coach will be attending the #1 ed consulting conference in the country. It's the Educators Moving On Network Conference in St. Louis. Oh, it's being put on by the amazing Dr. Chanel DeBose, and we are so excited to be attending the conference again this year. Cruise underscore connections. You may be interested in that conference. Okay, and then July 14th through the 16th, it's the Riata being held in Philadelphia. The IEP Coach will be in the building on July 15th, Saturday, July 15th. We will be participating in their Sisters Business Wellness Mixer, focusing on our road to entrepreneurship to support other women who may be in business or have a desire to get into business. So we will be one of the panelists. So make sure you get your tickets. Click the link in our bio. And I am dropping the link in the comments right now. If you're on Instagram, click the link in our bio. And make sure if you are catching this on the replay, you put hashtag replay so we know you're watching this on the replay. And as always, stay safe. And we will see you all next Tuesday, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Have a great evening, everyone. Peace.